What's up, YouTube? We're super glad you're here with us this week. We have a special surprise for you. We're here with Pastor Mike Adkins at Grace Church in Orlando, and we're just super stoked to get to talk to him about his approach on leadership and a couple of specific questions that we have for him, just to kind of know what he does here that's been working so well for them. So thank you so much for letting us come in and kind of take over your lobby a little bit. So
Yeah, glad to do it.
Take time
Glad to
out.
do it for sure.
Start things off. Tell us a little bit about Grace Church and how you guys ended up here.
Well, Grace started about 15 years ago, and it started with a handful of people, about 50 of us, in a little room. And I cast vision that first week for what we were going to do down the road, and successfully grew it to 30 people the next week, and that was fantastic. And then from there, we started to grow. We saw God's hand from the very beginning. I mean, God has always provided for the church and always brought people. And one of the things we say around here a lot is that God always brings the right people at the right time.
right.
And that's kind of what we've seen for the years. Today, Grace is a church of about 2,500. It has 4 campuses around Central Florida. And so our services are a unique mix of both modern and ancient. So like, for example, in our services, we'd have things like a call to worship, confession, which we do corporately, and then we do privately. We do communion every week. We were portable for almost 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I looked from the day we planted the church we had real estate companies looking for us. I was out. I know the area really well. I grew up in this area, and looking for property. And it wasn't until just overnight, somebody in our church said, "I think this facility is available." We came in, we got the facility. It was incredible. I mean, miraculous circumstances. We're sitting in a Bahia shrine.
I knew it was something like that. I couldn't remember exactly.
Yeah. And it was the most hideous building that you've ever seen. When the architect saw it for the first time, he called it a vomit warehouse.
Oh.
And if you could look at it now,
it's a winner.
Yeah. But you know what? When I stepped on the campus for the very first time, I knew this was it. I mean, I felt like the Lord's presence saying, "This is where you're going to be," and it's been phenomenal. In the last 2 years, we're almost 2.5 times the size of when we came into it. So
Wow.
we've seen significant and massive growth over the last couple of years.
Have the other campuses been birthed out of after this place was planted here permanently? Or
No,
before?
we were a multi-site church being portable, which is pretty unique, actually. And we kind of figured out how to do portable church. I mean, when you do it for 14 years,
Right.
we would take chemistry labs in high schools and turn them into these incredible environments for young kids that were both safe and artistically interesting. So
Put the chemicals away first.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like we do portable church really, really well. And so I think there's always going to be a portion of Grace that's going to be portable, but not necessarily every campus.
Right. How do you keep that startup culture that you had from being portable and everybody hustling all
Yeah.
in? Like if you're not here, this doesn't work.
Yep.
And now we have a building. How do you
Yeah.
keep people from just coasting?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Actually, that was something that when we were first talking to the staff about moving from portable into an existing facility, that was the concern. The concern was we're going to lose our startup culture, which we haven't. One of the unique things about being a portable church is that we have, you hear 20% of the people do 80% of the work. For us, it's almost the other way around. We have almost 80% of the people that attend this church are actually involved in serving in some function. It is incredible. It's amazing. And part of that comes from, certainly our roots. But part of that comes from expectations. I mean, we have people that are staff people, right? And I only put that air quote out there to say, not that they're not legit staff, because we treat them like staff members. We hold them to high standards, but they're just not paid.
Right.
And so I'd say that's one of the things that we do. We really expect it, and I think a lot of churches will invert that pyramid basically and say, you've got a bunch of staff people, and then it goes down to the volunteer, and I think it's the other way around.
Right.
I think you're supposed to have an army of volunteers in the church, people who serve. We don't really like the term volunteer a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah.
We like the idea of service because we're all called to be servants. Servant leadership is the basis of the biblical model of leadership. So,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of it has to do with expectation. And I hear pastors and people all over the place say, "I can't ask them to do that." I was just sitting with a guy this morning before I came to talk to you guys, and he said, "We made a fatal decision recently," because they've been kind of gone from church for a while and got real busy in his life. he said, we just stopped serving. And he said, I totally underestimated the idea that serving actually gave back to me. He's like, when my life got busy, I thought, well, I'll cut this out and create some margin. And he said, when I did, I didn't realize how much serving was actually affecting me in a positive way. So we have a high value on servanthood here at Grace. And I think it shows up in how people show up.